We'd now like to take the conversation ahead and talk about importance of new age technologies in bringing innovation to life with Mr. Sandeep Paul, design consultant at Paul Studio. Welcome, Mr. Paul.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paul Sandeep, and I'm thankful to Dell Technologies and all of you guys here present today uh, for the day. And I'm really excited to share some of my thoughts, and I'm really glad that I've gotten given this opportunity by Dell Technologies, and thank you. So, without much ado, I'll start sharing my thoughts. What I initially started thinking when I was, preparing for the talk, I thought I would share some trends of 2021. And but while I was doing so, I came across, certain thought processes in my mind, and I felt the last year and this year, I think we've seen not just trends, but we're kind of seeing a lot of shifts in the society. So I thought let me reiterate my presentation and call it Shifts 2021. And what were actually the five biggest shifts in 2021? I'm sure as I reveal all the fives, you will all kind of associate with these things because we're all in the same boat at the end of the day. So number one being work from home, which is a major shift in our work life, work style. Second is shop from home. I think we started shopping almost everything that is possible sitting at home, which normally we wouldn't have been doing, and restricting ourselves to only buying certain stuff, which is not readily available in our nearby areas. Third, of course, is a big shift in the traditional schooling system, where schooling is happening from home. I'm going to elaborate more on that as we move forward. The fourth is network from home. Like, for example, exactly the thing we are doing today. I'm sitting at my home studio, and you all are at your own places across the country. And I think this is probably the new normal. I don't know what to call it, but this is definitely a big shift where we're networking, from home, and I were not able to meet in person. And of course, fifth but not last but not the least, party from home, because we just can't do away with entertainment and having this small joys of life. And so this also again is being restricted to our home environment. So of course, these five are the biggest shifts which we see in 2021. So primarily, life is evolving, mostly around the home space. So what exactly, if I were to elaborate, so what does it mean to us? Like for example, when we talk about work from home, a lot of things have popped up. For example, a lot of meetings are happening, so we need to access a lot of data, and processing is happening remotely, and we do not have any more static workstations, and that's again, so we are all, another interesting and probably a very thing of concern is that the need for data security, because if I talk about my studio, at times when we are presenting, because we create intellectual property, and when we are showcasing this to a third party, there's always a chance of that intellectual property being leaked out, because maybe not taking the right solutions for the data security, because everything is happening online. So how do you secure those things? So I think work from home has called for definitely a lot more requirement for easy accessibility to the data from the organizations, across organizations, intra and inter organizations, the transaction of information and data which is happening. And also we need a mobile workspace. We can't be just stuck to our office spaces, since we're not in our office spaces and we're working from home. So we need to be more mobile in terms of being able to move away from our workspaces and give way for other family members as well when we're not working. And of course, as I mentioned, the need for the data security is on the high. If we to elaborate and look closely at the scenario two, which is the shopping from home, I think we're kind of moving into a space where we are shopping almost everyday essentials, like starting from your vegetables to groceries and whatnot. Uh, but what's happening here is that we're kind of missing out on the essence of the physical reality. How muchsoever we are, making our choices through static images, but we are still missing out on the right feel of the physical reality. Like, for example, though you might be shown a very fresh image of a mint leaf, but you still have a doubt that when you kind of receive the order, will it still be the fresh? Or, in fact, one of the reasons why are you having these thoughts, because the images are stock images. It's not real-time images of the stuff you're actually buying on that very moment. So these things I'm going to talk about much detail in the further slides, how and where artificial intelligence and big data is going to help us to achieve and probably take us more towards the physical reality. And of course, the third point, which I was talking about, schooling from home. Of course, this is a major shift, and it's hats off to the parents who have kids who are kind of at that period of schooling, which is very critical, because I really admire how they're managing from home. They all new ways of learning on the online platform. But then again, there's a flip side to it. What advantages students are taking worldwide is a rise of the online cheating for during the exams. It's completely beating the traditional education system. And this image which you see on the slide is actually from a TikToker, a young student who kind of showcased how do you actually cheat online, and using a proctor exams, which is otherwisely used to conduct exams. But she showed how you can still cheat on the online platform. So I think there's a lot of movement which is happening in this space, and there's a lot to watch out for, that what new technologies come up to, so that we can solve these issues, because these have become real time issues which we had never thought of. Yeah, again, networking from home, like as I said, the exact thing which we're doing right now, through Zoom, through Skype, so various other platforms. But again, how do we capture the essence of the physical reality? And I think it's very similar to a situation where of a party at home, because we still are missing out on the presence of the other person, because there's always a connect which happens between two people or a group of people when they meet in person, or at least when the person is near in the vicinity. But yeah, so let's see what's in store for us in the coming days, because this definitely is a big shift, and we need to adapt to these kind of changes. Uh, so the pandemic life has thrown up to a situation where actually, if you observe closely, the virtual world is kind of engulfing into the real life, and so a lot of technologies which were there, which were already being explored, have suddenly being accelerated due to the pandemic situation. And I could highlight the four most accelerated technology trends. One definitely is home automation. A lot of stuff is getting home automation done. IoT, drones, artificial intelligence, and big data is actually going a big way to give us more solutions. I'm going to elaborate on that shortly. Another interesting area is the space of extended reality. A lot of work is happening in that domain. And of course, all this is being enabled by faster network and 5G and all of that. So, as designers, what do these trends mean to us as industrial designers or as the creators? So definitely, I could definitely say from Paul Studio's point of view, where we are definitely getting a lot of opportunities to work on high-tech projects due to the advancements of these technologies, which otherwise would have grown at a different pace, but now definitely they've got a boost. So we are kind of exposed to a lot of high-tech projects. AI and big data is definitely helping us to get a very accurate design brief, a very pinpointed design brief, which is resulting in the creation, of the most appropriate and the impactful solutions. Uh, Another rise which we've seen is in the demand of 3D hyperrealistic, product and service visualizations to attract online customer attention. Like for example, when I talked about how fresh is the mint leaf, now a 2D image will not be that impactful unless we try to create that probably a holographic image of the real time product which you're buying, and you could actually see from all the sides that what, okay, this is an apple I'm buying, and how does it look from all the sides? Is it good, is it bad? You could make a decision based on that. So a lot of 3D visualization, hyper realistic visualization of products and services are is a demand which you're seeing, which is on the rise, and we're trying to cater to that. And again, thanks to Dell Technologies, because a lot of our work happens on Dell platforms, which helps us, work a lot on techno-aesthetic detailing, and especially, producing these kind of visualizations. And of course, with the 5G network coming in place and stuff moving on to that platform, the data transfer and ease of access to cloud data is definitely what is helping us perform better. Some of the projects which we did in the space of home automation, there's a very interesting project where this is actually a biometric access control switch plate, and which recognizes about around 300 unique impressions. And this is truly a, would call it a product of luxury. Uh, Probably this image doesn't show, but it's got a lot of crystals on the side which is embedded, and stuff like that. A very high precision work is happening. A few more automation projects which we're doing. Yeah, this was the 3D visualization thing which we're talking about now. Apart from you as a customer uh, trying to buy stuff, the organic stuff, but there's also a lot of companies who are selling their products online, which otherwise would have been sold through the brick and mortar stores. And with the movement of people wanting to have a look and feel of the product, so these kind of 3D visualizations, which are actually very accurate 3D models of the existing products which are available to for purchase. So how do you simulate them? And we did this for a company who wanted to showcase all their locks and how precise and how quality engineering was done. So we actually had to simulate each and everything, and a lot of work is coming our way in this space. And we're happy to again have Dell as our platform to explore these kind of and create these kind of outputs, which makes us definitely a step further ahead from the competition to create these kind of value propositions for our clients. And yeah, well, this is not a photograph, this is a 3D visualization, and which would actually make you feel that this is real metal. You can actually feel the weight of the product when you look at it. A few more AI enabled smart sensors. This is a 4-in-1 product which we designed. And the interesting thing is that we started off with one product, but then we created the design in such a manner that we would actually house 4 different functionalities by just changing the front fascia or the deco, smallest element of the product, so that the input cost in tooling and all is less, and we could create various options. A quick glimpse of the entire process of how we created, designed, and engineered the entire product, and by just changing the 3 top covers. In fact, the deco elements, you could actually achieve those 3 to 4 options of the product. So a lot of precision work is happening again, a lot of creative engineering. Another space which is picking up is definitely toys, and we are definitely very much into designing toys, and we've got an opportunity to create a lot of interesting products, IoT toys, drones, and RC toys. In fact, IoT is also helping a lot of mundane products get into the limelight by having the smartness quotient being added to them, like a humble ceiling fan is now introduced with the IoT fan as an IoT fan. This we did for an Indian brand. So what I'm trying to say here is that all in all, as designers, most of our work is dependent on our creative intelligence and how we process the qualitative data, the insights and stuff like that. And definitely, with artificial intelligence coming into the picture, it is definitely helping us to achieve much more accurate solutions. Uh, but again, to a certain extent, artificial intelligence is driven by data which is quantitative in nature and not qualitative. So can AI be trained by creative intelligence? Because creative intelligence is something which we are trained in as creative professionals and as designers. And if we are able to mix our capabilities with artificial intelligence, I think we can do wonders. And I just wanted to share a quick example of a classic product, a chair. Now, this chair was actually not designed by a human; it was designed by a software. And how it works is that Philip Stark, its work, he's done some really cool and some wonderful chairs. And so the software started actually analyzing the way he designs, the designer designs the products and what is the look and feel he achieves through his products. And so together, Cartel and Stark had they had worked along with the software to create the chair, which is actually the first AI chair. It's called the AI chair by Philip Stark, and the only way that a human was involved in this was by the designer's work was studied over a period of time, and the nuances of his style was tried to understand, to be taught to the software, and that's how this chair came into the reality. The reality. So there was no human intervention; it was completely designed by AI. So this kind of stuff is definitely very exciting, and but then again, when I talk about AI and big data, so what exactly does that data comprise of, and who is it targeted to? It's mostly it is user centered because it's trying to target your products and services and aiming it to the buyer. But at the same time, as designers, we feel that we can create more value by shifting it from user-centered to human-centered. So when we talk about human-centered design, we are talking about design with empathy. We're talking about having those insights, those smaller aspects, so those nuances, which actually not only targeting the buyer, but also encompassing all the people who are engaged in the utility of the product. Like an example of a recent situation at home, our geyser just conked off, and we had asked for a service engineer to visit and see if he could help us with it. So he was struggling to find solutions, and it was hidden inside the false ceiling and stuff like that. So can AI find a solution to this? Because this is a real-time situation, and probably the person is struggling at these situations, service situations at various locations. So can AI actually find a solution to this? Because this brings up a very interesting thought process that a man is only as good as his tools. So can we empower ourselves with the tools so that we can actually work better and perform better as designers? We rely on softwares and stuff like that. So as other professionals, can we empower them with the right tools? And that comes to the point of extended reality. Imagine a situation where you can give this serviceman, service engineer, a pair of specs, and you could actually wear them and see the exact spot where the error is, which is kind of calculated, and the data is assimilated and projected in front of him, and he can actually spot where the problem is without trying to do a complete troubleshooting exercise. It definitely would increase his or her efficiency. And I think that when mixed with the creative intelligence and artificial intelligence, when brought together, And I think that's when we can create something really, really wonderful. And we're seeing examples of stuff which is being made. This is, sorry, this is a sunglass kind of a looking virtual reality uh, pair of glasses. Because we've all seen those, a big virtual reality pair of glasses, but it's awesome. But wearing that huge headset isn't fun. So the fun would be when we can actually have those facilities, have those technologies built into our everyday life, and which looks just as normal like a pair of sunglasses. And yeah, at Paul Studio, we are always striving to improve and improve everyday life through our design. And again, thanks to Dell for powering us with the right tools and technologies. And I think with that, I would conclude the session. With this, I would like to thank you for staying with me all this while. And I'm really grateful again for Dell Technologies for providing this platform for me to share my thoughts. Thank you, and see you sometime soon.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep, for your insightful session. I'm sure everyone learned the importance of digital adoption for their businesses.